Your best friend since middle school. The one who remembered your birthday. Cried at movies with you. Texted you memes at 2 a.m. Sat across from you at dinner. Smiled. And said something that didn't feel like love at all. You laughed it off the first time. Told yourself you'd misread it. That people say weird things. You were wrong. And somewhere deep down, you already knew it. By the third time she opened her mouth, the words landed like they'd been sharpened specifically for you. And the worst part was that you couldn't tell if she was right. So you walked home, sat on the edge of your bed with your face in your hands, and tried to figure out what exactly you were even crying about. You had known Hana since middle school, long before UA, long before Heroes, long before any of this. She was the kind of friend who remembered your birthday without being reminded, who texted you memes. You thought you knew her completely. You didn't know her at all. It started small, a comment here, a look there. The first time it happened, you were in the common room of Heights Alliance, laughing about something stupid Dinky had said during training. Hana, who attended a general studies course at a nearby school and visited often, enough that most Class 1A knew her face, leaned close to you with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. You know Bakugo only started being nicer because you told him to, right? She said quietly. Before you, he was a complete monster. You basically fixed him. Don't you ever feel like a caretaker more than a girlfriend? You blinked. What? But she'd already moved on, laughing at something else, like the words hadn't been a needle slipped between your ribs. You didn't mention it to either of them that night. You turned it over in your head instead, wondering if you'd misread the tone. People said weird things sometimes. It didn't mean anything. The second time she said anything, though, was worse. You, Hana, Katsuki, and Ijiro had all gone out for food. A rare afternoon off, cold ramen, and warm conversations. Katsuki had his arm slung over the back of your chair, not quite touching you, but close enough that you felt the warmth radiating off him. Ijiro was stealing from your ball with a grin so wide it looked painful. Hey, Hana said to Ijiro, sweetly, does it ever feel weird? Sharing. Ijiro paused with your spoon halfway to his mouth. Sharing what? Her. Hana tilted her head like she was talking about the weather. Like it's a little unusual, isn't it? Most people would feel like they weren't enough. The table went very quiet. You watched Ijiro's expression shift. Not to hurt, but to something careful and measuring. Katsuki's hand, which had been relaxed against the chair, lowered slowly until his knuckles rested against your shoulder. I feel like more than enough, Ijiro said, setting the spoon down. His voice was still warm, but there was bedrock underneath it now. Every day, actually. Hana laughed it off. I'm just saying what people probably think. You're saying what you think, Katsuki said flatly. He wasn't looking at her. He was looking at you, reading your face with those sharp red eyes, cataloging. He smiled at him. It felt thinner than usual. The third time, you were alone with her. You'd walked her to the train station after dinner, the way you always did, the city humming around you in the late evening. You were telling her about a rescue stimulation that had gone sideways when she stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and turned to you. Look, I'm saying this because I care about you. She started. Those words you had learned almost never preceded something kind. I think you're losing yourself in them, she said. Like, when's the last time you made a decision that wasn't about what they wanted? You dropped the photography elective because Bakugo thought it was a waste of time. No, I dropped it because I thought it was a waste of time. And you don't go out with anyone else anymore because you're always with them. You're not their girlfriend, you're their whole life. And I think you're too deep in it to see how they're isolating you. Your mouth had gone dry. The words landed with precision, like she'd been sharpening them for a while. I have to go. You said, I'm worried about you. I heard you. You said and walked away. You didn't cry until you got back to your room. You weren't even sure what you were crying about, whether she was right, whether you were angry, whether you were grieving something. You sat on the edge of your bed with your face in your hands and tried to think clearly. The knock came 10 minutes later. When you opened the door, both of them were there. Katsuki leaning against the doorframe, with his arms crossed, jaw tight. Ejiro beside him, worried in the open, uncomplicated way he always was, like he didn't know how to hide concern, even when he tried. Kirishima saw you come in, Katsuki said. You looked like shit, apparently. Thank you, you said, voice a little unsteady. Ejiro stepped forward first. What did she say to you? You told them, all of it. How it upsets you, the caretaker comment. The sharing comment. Tonight. You kept your voice even because you didn't want to fall apart again, but it frayed at the edges. When you were done, Katsuki was quiet for a long moment. Then he uncrossed his arms and sat down on the bed next to you. You dropped the photography elective, he said, because you told me you conflicted with the internship you wanted more. I remember the exact conversation. You made that choice. I know, you said quietly. Do you? Ijiro sat on your other side. He didn't say anything for a second. She's been doing this for a while. Chipping. Small stuff so it's hard to point at anything. He paused. The sharing thing at dinner. That wasn't for me or Katsuki. That was for you. She wanted you to see us differently. She's trying to edge you out, Katsuki said bluntly. And I don't know what her problem is, but she's not your friend. Not like that. The word friend sat strange in your mouth now, like something that had lost its shape. I don't want to just cut her off without. You don't have to do anything tonight, Ijiro said, but you should know what she's doing, so you can see it clearly. Katsuki's shoulder pressed against yours, not performative, just solid. You're not a caretaker, he said. You're not someone's project. You're ours and we're yours. It's not because anyone was fixed. It's because you're you. Ijiro squeezed your hand. You didn't lose yourself with us, Wayan. You just got more of yourself. And we were there. You exhaled slowly. Outside, the city kept humming. Inside, the room was warm, and both of them were steady beside you. And the words Hana had planted started slowly to lose their grip. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And goodbye.